Hello and welcome to this video lesson from the IELTS coach. In today's lesson, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to look at error correction and error correction in the listening exam. This is not so much a listening practice, but after you have listened and written your answers down, you should be looking for and checking any kind of mistakes. So here I'm going to show you a list of answers to questions, but they may be right or wrong. You have to decide. You have to do that error correction. Then I will explain and show you the correction if one is required. So let's have a look here. We've got 1 to 10 and we've got question words. I didn't write the full question just for space, but if you know it's a where or what or who question, then you should know what kind of information you're listening for. If it's a where question, you're not listening for a price. Okay, you're listening for a location. If it's a who question, you're not listening for an action. Okay, a verb. It's who. It needs to be a person, a doctor, a teacher, a boy. So listen for what you need. As you're writing, you might write something different. You might get the grammar wrong. You might write a place when you mean a person. And that's okay. But you want to be able to check and correct that. So let's have a look at common mistakes, and these are all mistakes that I've seen. It might be a spelling mistake, it might be a grammar mistake, but let's have a look at the mistakes, and one by one, let's go through them. So number one, it's a where question. The answer they have there is coffee. So what's the smallest change, and what's the most likely change to make this correct? Coffee is not a place. I will meet you at the coffee. No, so it has to be either cafe or coffee shop. Coffee shop sounds quite different, so I would change this to cafe. Both are correct, coffee shop or cafe, but for this activity, let's make the smallest change that's necessary to make the correction. And that's what you should do. You don't want to add 3 words to your change if you can only change 1 word. So make the smallest change possible to make the answer correct. In this case, cafe. The next one is a price, how much. Quite common for people to write 1.7 as $1.7. People don't say $1.7. We only say 1.7 when it's millions. $1.7 million. We're not going to make that change. If we're talking about a cup of coffee, then $1.70, it is better to add the O. And again, go back to what you heard. You didn't hear 1.7. You heard $1.70, write the 70. Be careful, 70 or 17. So here it could be either of those. I've made it 70. Number 3, what? What did they buy? What should you take? What is it? And this is a spelling mistake. So rainwear is things you wear when it's raining, a raincoat, a hat, maybe some gloves, a poncho, rainwear. But something that you wear, so it does need to be W-E-A-R, rainwear. When, so the problem here, August is when, but the problem is the preposition. We use on when we have the full date, on August 10th. So this might be the full date, most likely it's just a wrong preposition. So it should be August or in August. Where? Spanish. Again, it could be other options. It can't be Spanish because that's language or people. So it needs to be something else. Maybe adding a noun in the Spanish mountains, on the Spanish coast. Or most likely just change Spanish to Spain. Where? Spain. Again, as you listen, you will know which one it should be. How often? Month, once a month, twice a month, every month. If it's 1 word only, it needs to be monthly. And that's most likely. You most likely didn't hear the li, that little ending part. So it's most likely that you have to change the grammar to fit. Number 7, who? Speeches is not a person or people. But what sounds like speechers and is connected to a speech? Speakers give speeches. So they sound very similar. Grammatically, speakers works. That's who. Who will be at the conference? A lot of speakers. not speeches. Number 8, an animal. Obviously 11 is not an animal, but it sounds similar to elephant. My younger students have trouble with this. But again, oh, I heard 11. Good. You hear 11, write 11. Correct that when you realize, oh, it needs to be a number. Or it needs to be an animal, not a number. Okay, when you're listening, you're doing things quickly, you're not thinking about that. But when you're checking and correcting and transferring, that's when you can make that correction. For an action, ring bells. So there's a grammar mistake here. It will either be ring bells or ring a bell. It's likely you didn't hear that S, so that's the correction we've made. And the last one, how did he go to school? How did he walk? And he walks slow. No, he walks slowly. He walks slowly. So again, adverb showing how something is done. So here we can see quite common, and it's quite acceptable for students to write those mistakes. Making the mistake is not the problem. Not correcting the mistake is a problem. When you listen and write quickly, I do it all the time. I make spelling mistakes, I forget a word, but when I go to transfer and check, I make sure the grammar is correct. You have to make sure the spelling is correct. You've got to make sure the word fits. Oh, I wrote a number, it should be an animal. Oh, I wrote the drink, it should be the place. Coffee and cafe, surprisingly, is quite common in listening as a listening answer, and students make mistakes with it, often because the spelling is different in different languages. So look at those kind of mistakes and also look at the mistakes you make. Oh, I made a mistake with one letter or one word or the wrong form. Make those corrections. That's what this video is about. So practice correcting and being careful with the mistakes that you make. Mistakes are okay. Make sure you correct them when you transfer and give your final answers. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm updating videos every day, and leave any comments about what kind of videos you would like me to create in the next few weeks. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.